Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Our today's topic is Aristotle's concept of poetic imitation. We know that this is very important topic, and out of this topic, on this topic is based Aristotle's ideas regarding drama and poetry. So here, Aristotle inherited the word imitation from Plato, his teacher, but he gave it a new meaning and direction. He does not make a servile copy of imitation, but definitely he has decorated it or renewed the meaning of imitation, because imitation was used in a negative sense by Aristotle's teacher, and here Aristotle, with all his positivity, comes to define imitation. So Plato used imitation as a mocking term for the poetic procedure in the sense of mimicry, which he regarded as an inferior type of activity. But Aristotle, by imitation, does not mean superficial copying of the world as we know them. He rather holds that imitation is the imaginative reconstruction of life. When a poet sees an object, it creates an impression on his mind and evokes an image. When the object is removed from experience, the poet tries to reconstruct the image of that object with the help of the impression created on his mind. This is the process of poetic imitation with Aristotle. It is actually the creative power which transforms the materials of sensory experience into something beautiful and appealing. While Plato condemned poetry on the ground that in the very nature of things poets can have no idea of truth. The phenomenal world is not the reality, but the copy of the reality in the mind of the Supreme. The poet imitates this copy, the object and the phenomena of the world, which are shadowing and unreal. Hence Plato concluded that poetry is thrice removed from reality, it being a mere shadow or shadow of shadows. Poets are liars and deceive us with the lies which they tell in their poetry. Poetry, therefore, is the mother of lies. So this is how Plato sees poetry and its procedure, and finds no good or no benefit for the readers or for the poets. Rather, he has charged leveled many charges against poetry and poets, and hence condemned, and he gives no place to poet in his utopian world, we know. And Aristotle, without taking the name of his teacher, tries to best defend the cause of poetry, which was darling to him. So Aristotle, on the contrary, tells us that art imitates not the mere shadow of things, but the ideal reality embodied in every object of the world. Art reproduces the original not as it is, but as it appears to the senses. That means it is reproduced imaginatively. Thus the poet does not copy the external world, but creates according to his idea of it. Thus even an ugly object, if well imitated, becomes a source of pleasure. This is so because of the imaginative coloring of reality in the process of poetic imitation. So, dear students, we come to know that the concept of poetic imitation given by Plato is very much faulty and does not hold good, whereas Aristotle, his student, his pupil, has very well maintained and held his point of view and given the best explanation and defense of poetry, poets and poetic imitation that we can benefit from the works of the poets, and we can enjoy ourselves, and we can learn a lot through poetry and poetic works. Aristotle, with all respect and without taking any name of his teacher, tries his best to defend poetry and poets, and it is Aristotle's poetic concept that the poets have always been taking interest in poetry and making poetry as their career, and poetry has never lost its importance throughout the ages. And I must conclude that he wants to say that it is the power of imagination with which poets can make wonders or have made wonders, and they have come up with such great secrets of nature in their words, in their poetical works, that the world always finds fascination in the works of great poets, right from Homer to Plato and Shakespeare and Wordsworth and Shelley and Keats and up to the present day. So poetry has always fascinated and attracted the readers and will continue to do so. So I hope that Aristotle's poetic imitation you will find as the best defense of poetry as against the bleak picture depicted by Plato. Thank you very much.